So, okay, I am ready to make my choice, and I know that you
All right,
guys are.
so it is decision time, Andy.
Oh, okay,
At
it
this
is.
moment, we want to know who is in third place.
Mm. Well, this makes me really sad because I've been listening to you guys for a long time, and he really never wins.
It's your boy, SoSo Juv, and we back in the building, and welcome to part 2. This is the persuasion part of our topic of our 5 cents on behaviors or actions of an insecure man. And once again, SoSo Juv is still in the building, HLS is still in the building, Carl King is still in the building, and of course, we have the great Andy Paige still in the building. So we're going to do a quick recap of our list. HL, let's go ahead and start us off.
Number 5, I had constant need for validation. And number 4, too concerned about what other people think. Number 3, overly jealous. Number 2, a little too clingy. And then number 1, imposter syndrome.
And my 5 cents on the topic was at number 5, constantly apologizing. At number 4, trying to isolate you from your support system. At number 3, blaming you for things you are innocent of. Number 2, overly defensive. And number 1, check through your phone. Carl King, what was your 5 cents?
Number 5 was lying. Number 4 was being combative in every situation. Number 3, self-obsessed. Number 2, a perfectionist. And number 1, needy or clingy.
All right. So, Andy Paige, we are getting into the segment that we like to call cross-examination. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions of us and for us to ask questions of each other to try to persuade your vote while you deliberate and make a decision on this topic. So, do you have anything for us for cross-examination?
I do. So, HLS,
Yes.
tell me the difference in your mind between jealousy and clingy, because to me, they kind of merge together. I don't see them as two separate things. I mean, they kind of can, like someone who is clingy is being jealous. So how is that different to you?
So clingy is like attached to the hip, right? It's like your beeper back in the 90s, right? 80s, 90s, attached to the hip. Jealous is like I mentioned in what I was saying earlier, like, oh, you can't hang out with this person, or why are you with that girl, or don't go here or don't go there, or maybe it's like, hey, you make more money than me. I feel insecure because I'm jealous you have something that I don't. You can't drive a nicer car than me. You can't have a better job than me. That's the kind of jealousy. That's the difference. One is being attached to the hip. One is just being like, hey, I don't like this and I don't like that because you make me feel smaller.
Okay.
And I love that you went there, Andy, because that's exactly where my cross-examination was with that jealousy. But before I attend to HLS, let me ask you this, Andy. Is jealousy, and mind you, remember what our topic is. It is behavior or actions of an insecure man. Is jealousy an action or is that an emotion? What are we talking about here, in your opinion?
Well, if I go back to my psychology class in college, there's a difference in jealousy and envy. And jealousy, I believe, is when you want to take something away from someone. And envy is just when you have the natural emotional envy that someone has something and you don't. So jealousy is an action.
Okay.
I believe.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You, Andy.
Yeah, you're lucky because I feel like HLS, he always comes with this broad, right? So it's not helping. We are trying to help people through this podcast.
Yeah.
And jealousy is such a broad term. What exactly is jealousy? So I just do not like that answer at all. It's nothing. There's nothing specific about it.
But the good thing about it is it's not about what you like. It's about what Andy likes.
Oh, of course, it's what about Andy likes, but once again, we're going back to when we yeah, you can continue to step on me, but I'm gonna continue to say this. It goes back to your consistency with the trash.
Oh my God!
to this occasion, and I'd love for you to step it up. with something a little bit more specific than this overly jealous? Because what does that
my
exactly mean?
God.
It's the behavior of an insecure man. It's the topic.
And I really don't understand the imposter syndrome. I know you said you've experienced that at work, but how does that show up in a date?
Well, so it's not just dating world, right? It's jealousy of an insecure man. I was feeling insecure in a new position, wondering whether or not I'm going to get caught or found out that I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So I felt like an imposter. I felt like there were times where I'm going to get found out that, hey, this person doesn't belong here. This person is an executive or a vice president or whatever, and they don't really know what they're talking about. So I had to fake it until I actually learned my trade or my craft a little bit better. But in the beginning, I felt like, I don't want to say anything in this meeting because if I say the wrong thing, I'm going to get found out.
So imposter syndrome to you is like being fake.
It's more than being fake. It's the insecurity of that I'm going to get caught in something in where I shouldn't be.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for explaining. I appreciate it. And I really love, honestly, all of your answers. Again, so very different than my list. It's crazy. Okay. So these, I'm going to go to you, SoSo Juv. So tell me,
I hate to interrupt, but I do have a question. I had a similar question about imposter syndrome for HLS. And I think the question I had was specifically because imposter syndrome is about somebody that actually has the capabilities and is able. So initially it was thought mainly to be attributed to women specifically. So we're talking about men, first of all. But also it is someone that actually has the capabilities and not someone who is
for sure. For sure. I definitely have the capability. I just didn't feel confident in that.
Do you really though?
Oh my God. Let me tell you, when I was in high school, it's something that I've always dealt with. When I was in high school, every year I always thought I was going to get cut from the football team. Every year, and every year I was a starter. Somehow, some way, I just didn't have that confidence in myself, and every year I was a starter. So I had the capability. I just didn't feel it within myself.
Understood.
Get those violin strings.
I was just trying to understand a little bit
better.
Listen. I told you I'm going to get personal on this show. I'm going to get personal. I want to get deep, and I want to expose myself to you in a very respectful but human way.
I am holding back tears. I'm feeling it. I'm right there.
I'm holding back my drink. Oh my God.
No, I'm always grateful for vulnerability. I'm always so I appreciate that. I do. And thank you for chiming in, Carl. I appreciate that too. So Carl, is there anything else before I move on?
No, I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting. Please forgive me.
No interrupting. Okay. So Juv, I feel the same way about blaming, you for everything or actions that, you didn't commit, as well as being overly defensive. To me, those kind of merge as well. So can you talk to me about how those are different in your mind? Because one leads to the other and they're that's a little murky. They feel the same.
Yes. So thank you for asking that question. So when you're blaming someone for things that you are innocent, you're putting the onus on the other person, right? And the difference is with being overly defensive, you're trying to protect yourself. So it's about your own insecurity that you're trying to protect. That is the difference between the two. Whereas where I'm blaming you of something, so say you went out with a friend and it was a male friend. You went out with HLS. Oh, so you must have made out with him, huh? You made out with HLS. That's blaming you for something that you're like, no, I just met him for coffee because he's my friend. Whereas like overly defensive is you provided me some feedback like, hey, I don't like the white shirt that you're wearing. What do you mean? It was the only shirt that I wore. And then I'm getting amped up in this defensive shell when really and truly it was just a small little feedback that you were giving me on what I was wearing.
Got it. And I think that I believe that the blaming is actually kind of called gaslighting, right? When you gaslight, when you're like projecting it back on someone else, or maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, sort of. Kind of.
Well, gaslighting, that's such an interesting term. And
it's thrown around so much and I'm not 100% sure I get it.
Yeah, and actually with that Alex Scott episode, and people, y'all, after
I need to
listening
listen to that one.
if you haven't listened to that one was a heavy hitter, maybe my favorite episode outside of this one right now going on. If you see what I'm saying, Andy. If you
I can tell someone cares about the vote.
Andy.
Someone cares about the vote. Yeah, got it.
So Juv, I think like it sounds to me that list that you gave, it's beautiful, it's powerful, but I think it's the list of an abusive and controlling man rather than an insecure man.
Let him know, Carl. Let him know.
Carl,
Like,
is there like
Okay.
a psychology class or two in your past? I mean, good God, that's pretty
yes, actually, yes.
Okay.
I love that, because
Yeah.
what is the foundation of abusive and controlling people?
Sure.
Insecurity.
No, it's absolutely, it's
Insecurity
insecurity.
is the basis
Mhm.
of all of that.
Mhm.
So all of that, when you talk about the abuse and all of that, that's just the
Mhm.
lashing out of that
Mhm.
one person's own insecurity.
Mhm.
Most definitely. But I mean, if this isn't about dating, this is just about the actions of an insecure man. Do friends check each other's phones?
Well, yeah, you know what? We just talked
Really?
about insecure men. We didn't specify dating or not.
Yeah.
But I think for me, and I've seen friends talk to me about this issue. When someone violates that line and goes into your phone, and it could potentially be with friend on friend, because I'm not sure what this person is saying about me. If you're not sure and you feel that you have that urge to do so, you're insecure.
I
Just
feel like he's
period.
reaching,
You
folks,
are.
but
I am. You have. I mean, literally, I'm remembering the time when I was like 6 years old, where my grandmother asked me to bring her purse. She wanted to get something out of her purse, and I went into her purse and brought the thing instead of bringing her purse. And I got a beat down because she was like, "Excuse me, I told you to bring my purse, not to go in my purse. You cannot go in my purse." And I can't believe that people aren't taught they can't do that. You cannot violate someone's like personal property in that way. That's your. I don't know if that's the actions of an insecure man or actions of someone who just wasn't taught any better. That's awful.
Or to piggyback off that, what if someone's just nosy? What if someone's just nosy?
Well, I'm nosy, but I'm respectful about it. I mean, I want to know about your love life, HLS. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go on your phone. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to dig through your wallet. I mean, yeah. So no, I do
Right.
think that there's a difference, but it's a good point. Okay, so Carl, you've been very cerebral in all of this. So tell me, the first time we heard your list, it was 1 to 5, and then you reversed it. So
that's a telltale sign right there, Andy. Everybody that's done that on the show has womp womp every time.
So I can't decide if you feel like being needy is the number one or if lying is the number one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you honestly. So on my list here, I just wrote out different attributes. I didn't rank them. I think for me it was, and I apologize for not having like top 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But what I wrote was off of the top of my brain. I was writing out different things, and I have like rooster behavior on here, like bragging about.
We don't want to hear about your honorable mentions. We don't want to hear
about
that. You know the show. Act like you've been here before. What's your 5 cents? What's your top 5?
I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. So
this is the My 5 Cents podcast. Okay.
So we will
Position matters
in the order of what's in the chat: lying, being combative, self-obsessed, being a perfectionist, and being needy. Yeah.
So again, number 1 or is needy number 5?
Needy is number 1. That's the easiest tell. And 5, lying is the least.
But his credibility has already been taken away because he's already said that he ranked them all equally. He just kind of put them out there. So remember that while you're judging it. Remember that.
Well, I mean, to be honest, his list is pretty strong. I mean, I think actually all of them are. I really appreciate how much energy you guys have put into this. This tells me a lot. So
That's
you've
real.
all struggled with this at some point. In
Oh,
your life.
absolutely. I have.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Tell us more, Carl.
For sure.
No, I think I used to show up in the world as a nice guy, and nice guys finish last. They get stepped on, because I was so careful to make sure people liked me. And so I think number one, yeah, needy. I was needy. I was not clingy, but I was needy. To I needed people to like me. I needed people's approval. And when I finally was able to let go of that, set that free, and there's a book called The Courage to Be Disliked. You've heard about it?
I do know about that book. Yeah.
Phenomenal book. And it gave me the freedom. It gave me the permission to say, you know what, it doesn't matter. If you don't like me, I'm doing what I'm trying to do. What's right. I'm trying to do what's kind and what is just. But you don't have to like it. You don't have to like me. And it'll work out in the end. And I'm not doing things that are harming people. I'm sorry. I'm vamping. I apologize. But yeah, so for me, doing that inner work of yeah.
So, Andy,
Okay. Yeah.
it sounds like you're ready.
Well, no, I want to add to that. So this was a life-changing thing for me, because here's the truth. Everybody listening, a third of the people are going to love you, a third of the people are going to hate you, and a third of the people could give two shits about you. So you cannot focus on the 2/3 that either hate you or don't care about you. You only need to focus on the third that do. So that's how you get over trying to make everybody like you, because it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And so you don't care what everybody thinks. You just focus on the third that's in your tribe. And a third's a lot. So there you go.
Yes, it is.
So, okay, I am ready to make my my choice, and I know that you guys.
All right, so it is decision time, Andy.
Oh, okay.
At this moment, we want to know who is in third place.
Well, this makes me really sad, because I've been listening to you guys for a long time, and he really never wins.
Oh my
I'm really
God.
sorry, HLS.
Brutal. For sure, you're consistent, boy. Boy, you are consistent.
I'm really sorry,
Andy.
I know you came first. You were there.
How,
You worked through our
Sweat?
microphone. I know.
How?
Well, I just.
You pick checking over someone's phone?
Oh, what? That's a heavy hitter. Get out of here. Don't be trying to pollute my list with your trash. You are consistent, boy. I tell you.
Oh my
I'm really
God.
sorry. As
my
as
God.
literally a long-time listener, first-time caller, I'm really sorry.
Wow. Wow.
Andy, I have to
I
say.
was vulnerable with you, and I was vulnerable.
I know. I felt it. I'm with you. I'm really sorry. That does not mean that you are not the self-proclaimed best host or most loved.
This is true. This is true. This is true. This is true.
You still
Hold
win
on to
that.
those accolades.
Andy, you killed that. I have to say, we've been doing this for a little bit now. Okay, that might have been the best third place announcement on the show ever. You killed that thing, Andy. Thank you so much for that. This I'm gonna replay forever. At my funeral. At my funeral. I just want this clip over and over again, please. Please.
So HLS,
right.
I hope you can forgive me. So now I am going to say who's number one, because we don't care about who's number two.
We
Correct.
don't care about second place. We just want number one.
It has to be Carl King.
Hey.
Stop it.
I know it does. I mean,
Thank
so
you.
much vulnerability and education. I feel like we should call him the professor. That's going to be his new stage name.
HLS, he logical genius us. Oh
CK
my
the
God.
professor.
He really did.
Yeah, he's like the professor, like the psych professor for sure. Yeah, I like it all. I like it all. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. I know. I'm so sorry, HLS. I'm really sorry. I really want, like in my mind, I was like, I'm going to let HLS win just to, make him feel good, because so many times he sucks so
But it was
bad.
so bad you
But,
couldn't, right?
But I just couldn't. When I'm
I
here,
feel so
I need
bad.
to know. I need to know. What's on your list? What's your 5 cents?
yes. Oh, well, do I have to make it 5? I actually have a dozen.
Let's go with your top 5, and we'll might
Okay,
give you
top
some room for
5.
honorable mention.
So my top 5, and we're talking about actions of an insecure man, right? So I was thinking there are all kinds of actions. So one of them for me is being selfish, someone who's very self-centered. Everything is about him, and that's because he obviously has this, again, false confidence, and someone who's very selfish. That would probably be number 5. Number 4, someone with a cheap mindset, someone who's cheap. They have a scarcity mindset. They're scared. They don't have confidence in themselves that they can make a living and provide. And of course, this is coming from a woman, right? So I find that someone who's very cheap and has the mindset that, it's limited and they worry about their abilities, they're very insecure. So
wow, HLS.
Yeah, I am honestly and happily frugal. I don't care.
HLS. No, I am frugal. I'm definitely frugal, but I will give you the shirt off my back because I know I can figure out how to find another one. I'm definitely frugal. To me, there's a big difference. I mean, I wrote a book, Style on a Shoestring. I teach people how to look great and not spend a lot of money. I'm not talking about wasting your money. I'm talking about coming from a place where you are cheap to a fault, so that it just comes off as being really insecure and scared.
And you were styling people that had plenty of resources.
Oh, plenty. Yeah. So there is a difference, HLS. I'm just saying. Okay. The other thing that for me, a huge one is being a follower and not a leader. Like if I am, as a woman, looking at a man and you are acquiescing, you're not leading, you are not taking initiative, you're not, planning a date, planning an occasion, you just kind of let things happen. I'm always like that follower mindset. I do not like that. That is very insecure. And it's like, as a woman, I'm looking for a leader. I see your yes, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I want to challenge you on that because I fall victim to that too. But it's not because I'm insecure; it's that I don't care enough. Right? If I'm not like taking the initiative on a date, or whatever the case may be, like you might be just one of 5 women I'm seeing, and it's like, yeah, we'll do whatever you want to do because I don't care about you that much. I don't think.
Well, that's a really good sign. That's a really good sign. I get it. But I'm not just talking about. I'm talking about like when you're with your friends. I'm talking about at work. Like, are you a leader of your household? Are you taking initiative? Do you have the confidence of your own choices? Do you have the confidence of your own convictions? Do you have the confidence of your own education? And I know we've already talked about that because you have imposter syndrome. So that's definitely something that I think maybe you should work on, HLS.
And that response really sounded like he was blaming you for something that you're innocent of. That's what that sounded like to me.
I was seeking clarity. I was asking questions.
I like it.
I'm not interested in you. I'm blaming you now for me.
No. That's totally fine. So, I get it. So another one and this is, I've got so many. I will go to the other one so this is more physical, but like a limp handshake. There is nothing worse on a man. I mean, that is all about insecurity.
Really? Interesting.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. And like no eye contact. Are you kidding me? Grow a pair and look me in the eyes, douchebag. I cannot stand anyone who can't look me in the eyes. I mean, you want to talk about insecurity. Yeah, wow. Insecurity. It's so bad. And like another huge one is ghosting. I mean, there is nothing worse than someone who grow a pair and have a conversation. Do not ghost. That is insecurity to the nth degree. It really bothers me.
It's laziness.
It is laziness, but it's also, again, insecurity. For me, it's insecurity of your convictions. You're not secure enough to meet and tackle things head on. You just don't have the confidence to handle your life, above board. You've got to like sneak away from it. So yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. I feel like you took an attack at HLS's new book, How to Date in this era. I feel like you just attacked his whole book that he's about to drop about dating.
Wow. Well, one of mine is drowning in your own clothes. Yeah. So to me, like a man should wear his. I'm telling you, a man should wear his clothes, and his clothes should not wear him.
Say more.
You know who loves some baggy jeans? That HLS loves some baggy jeans. Oh my God. This is an attack against the playbook. I think we need an editor to rewrite your book there, HLS, because this is your playbook is getting chopped.
So are you
love
talking about
losing
like a
clothes.
tailor?
You don't have to have a tailor. No, I'm just saying that when you are drowning in labels, or your clothes are
Uh-huh.
just so ill-fitted,
Okay.
and that you
Yeah.
haven't put any energy. It's like literally
Mhm.
your clothes are wearing you, and you
Sure.
don't have the confidence
Yeah.
to portray yourself in a more positive light. That to
Sure.
me is complete insecurity and hiding. Like, what are you
Mm.
hiding? So yeah, that's
So I feel like I have a response to every single one you said. It's so interesting. Everyone's different perspective, and that's the beauty of the show.
It is, but I'm also a girl. So, this is me. So my perspective on when I meet someone,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Anyone who talks down about other people, degrades other people, they
yeah.
complain all the time. They're chronically pessimistic. Anyway, like I said, I have a big list.
Yeah, and you know what? HLS saying that he has a response for every one of yours sounds very overly defensive. Sounds like
No,
this. I
no,
feel like
it's
HLS is acting out my list. Like
Oh my gosh.
I think my
it's
list
so
needed
no.
another look.
If you think about it, right?
Mm.
I would say someone who doesn't care what they wear, whether it's loose or whatever, is confident. Like if
Mm.
I'm just going to the store in like sweatpants and whatever, and I don't care what you think about me. I don't care how I look in these streets because I'm just going to the store. So if you don't like what I wear, well, forget you, because that's how secure I am. So
It's a thought.
yeah, like I hear what you say. If I'm showing up on a date and I don't put in effort into my appearance, that's one thing, right? But if I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing baggy clothes because I'm just going here or I'm just going there, I'm picking up my kid from soccer. I don't care what you think about me because I have enough security in myself. Like, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg. I think wears the same jeans and T-shirt
That's true.
for the last I don't know how long. No, real talk. Because he
No,
has
Well,
Andy looked like she was about
he
to throw
actually
up.
just got a
He looked like
style
she was about to
change.
throw up.
Well, there are lots of people who have basic style,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
we could talk about everyone from Jay Leno, who wore the same chambray shirt every day, to there are lots of people who do things like that. But in my experience, someone who is confident and is a leader and shows up, sure of his choices and sure of who he is and how he's going to present himself, is usually someone who cares. And I suppose what I'm really talking about is effort, but I do find that people who care less about what they have on, it's not because they've got all the confidence in the world. It's because they don't.
Yeah, and I'll say this to your defense, HLS. The sweatpants is almost like the male version of black yoga pants for females, right? Like it's all about the print. Like now we're getting disclosure. I had an employee who came into work on a dress down day, which is supposed to be jeans and like business casual top. He came in sweatpants. And I had to look at his junk in my face as I was sitting down in my chair, and his junk was like in my face. And I was
Yeah.
like, why are you wearing sweatpants to work? So he
Well-
was very confident with his print being in my face. I took him home. So
I mean, the same can be said about yoga pants. Yoga pants are, the cousin of pantyhose. And I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to wear pantyhose with a top to work. So I totally agree with you. You need to curtain your lady stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
So Andy Paige, we went out and we asked social media the question. So the socials were definitely buzzing on this. There was a list on top of a list, but of course we have to narrow it to 5. So at number 5, we had isolation. The men trying to isolate you from whether it's an ex-boyfriend or whether it's from a male friend, but isolation was at number 5.
On your list, SoSo Juv?
Yes, it was. While I am the people's champ, that is something that's true. At number 4, and I'm not sure, and I want to get your take on this, if you would consider this an action or behavior, kind of like jealousy, but anger issues. Would you consider that to be an action?
I mean, most of the time, anger shows up in action. Yeah.
Okay, so
you can be angry, but it usually shows up in some sort of action.
Okay. So at number 3, and I'll say once again, being narcissistic. Number 2, you have being a manipulator. And at number 1, it was being controlling. And that's what the people had to say. I actually have, we usually do a shout out to someone that has like a unique answer or something like that. And this is from Obsidian Grave 99867. Insecure men are like Wi-Fi signal, always trying to connect, but you can never quite get a strong enough signal. So that came from Obsidian Grave 99867 on Reddit. So thank you for contributing that, and you definitely get the shout out for the week for the
Yeah.
People's Poet. Now, Andy Paige, what we also do, we're in the world of technology, and Terminator is taking over. So we asked AI what it thought on its 5 cents on the topic for today. So HLS, what did AI have to say?
Yeah, I went to the internet, the AI, and number 5, need for control. Some insecure men may try to control situations or people around them as a way to feel more secure. And number 4, inability to handle success or praise. An insecure man may downplay or deflect praise or compliments because he doesn't feel he quite deserves them.
Ooh, I want to talk about that. That's a undercurrent, right? Like you're so like, oh my God. And I see that a lot with my students. So very much they don't know how to get positive feedback. They don't know how to accept positive feedback. Like they run away. Like if you try to give them a certificate in front of the auditorium, they're like, oh no, like I don't want to get up. I don't want to do this. So that's a real good one, AI. You were on it.
Yeah. Number 3, defensiveness and overreacting. Insecure men often react defensively to criticism, even if it's constructive. Number 2, jealousy and possessiveness. Insecurity can often fuel feelings of jealousy, especially in romantic relationships. May become overly possessive or distrustful. And number 1, need for validation. An insecure man may seek constant praise or reassurance from others, especially from his partner or peers. And that's what AI had to say about the topic.
All right. So thank you for sharing that, HLS. So Andy Paige, we are at the show, or at the part of the show where do you have any projects or social media that you want to shout out?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, I mean, I encourage all your listeners to, of course, watch General Hospital and to go to shophomeandheart.com where they'll see everything that's going on with the new projects on General Hospital. There's some really new innovative kind of advertising that's happening where you can shop the show. So, and wear the things of your favorite characters and all that stuff. So shophomeandheart.com. And if you're interested in me, you can go to andypaige.com. You can see me on QVC selling you stuff over the holidays, or pick up the Girly Go Garter at girlygogarter.com.
Nice.
All right. So check her out. Check her out on General Hospital. Check her out on QVC. Maybe I might have to do some Christmas shopping over there. So please definitely check out the great Andy Paige. So we're going to go ahead and say good night to the people. HLS, go ahead and start us off.
Andy, I thought we connected, but you stepped in the wrong direction. It's unfortunate because I thought I was secure on my list. Apparently, I need to go back and make it make sense. But thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
And I'm going to go ahead and say good night to the people. Andy, your decision making was quite questionable. I thought we connected with the check through your phone. The way that you said, wow, that was a great list. The tone in your voice, I felt like we were there. But clearly, I lost to the nerd. So good night, people. I'm going to just listen to HLS make it make sense because his stuff is so nonsense. That was just the greatest third place ever. Thank you for that, Andy. Appreciate that. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
and Carl
everybody.
King, please say good night to the people.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for...
Hold on. Let me do that, Carl.
Yeah, put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name.
Hold on. And Carl King and our champ for this week, please say good night to the people.
Well, thank you so much, SoSo, for the kind introduction and the well-deserved fanfare. I deserve that. I'm not going to bow away from it because I'm not insecure. That was on the list, right? No, thank you, Andy, for the conversation. Thanks for the questions. Seriously, thank you for the questions and digging a little bit. I hope that we were able to provide some value for some people. And I hope we can do some work as men showing up in this world, that we can dig a little bit and work on our insecurities and show up stronger and better for the people in our lives. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks for tuning in this week.
All right. And Andy Paige, our special guest and judge this week, please say goodnight to the people.
I cannot tell you what a blast this was. I was looking forward to it, and you did not disappoint. Thank you so much for letting me, I hope not hurt your feelings too bad, but really participate in full. And I'm grateful for just you wanting me to be around. So good night, everyone, and listen. Everyone needs a little more of my 5 cents.